You step out through the door that led to the reactor and find yourself at the base of this chimney, this 60-meter deep vent, essentially, for the reactor. And all around you, there are these cocoons, eggs, things. The cords that you rappelled down are still all dangling here. But around you, there are at least, just here on the base of the chimney, 6 of these eggs. And several others, like tumors, growing along the walls of the chimney. Valdez, Pedro, and Novikov waste no time when they get out here, quietly but quickly, heading towards the ropes and reattaching themselves to begin climbing up the sheer, slick wall, still heavily pouring rain that falls down it like a waterfall.
Make it outside, and the 3 remaining Marines, you said they're not wasting any time. They're gone. All right.
Oh, they are 100% they're not gone yet. They're in the process of getting themselves reattached. Well, and yeah. Novikov gives a gesture because he was the one who checked you all before. And so he gives a gesture for you to come get out. Okay. Oh yeah.
All right. I'll trying to decide how he would play this out. What would Wilson say? I guess real quick, I had questioned the other 2. I was like, I don't see any other move that's better than getting out of here with them. And even if it's a final stand, at least we make a final stand. We're not stuck down here in the middle of them. Even if we get back to the base just in time for a final stand.
I agree. This is really a one track that we're on.
Yeah, we can't win here. Maybe we'll get lucky at the base. I don't know.
Charles is looking at these egg cocoons pretty closely and just kind of inspecting them for maybe too long and agreeing. And then I'll look and I'll be like, maybe when we get back to the top, we can use this big thing and we can blast it back down here and maybe take care of some problem.
That may not be a bad idea at this point.
I kind of got to agree. I like where your head's at.
Yeah, let's go ahead.
I'll do it for Hall.
Yeah, man.
So the 3 of you are speaking quietly. You can't speak too quietly just in order to be heard over the thunder, but whispering to one another. And the other Marines will help get you latched up, ready to go, and ready to climb. Once you're ready to climb, I need you all to make me... Let's go with a strength check here. If you have, again, any relevant skills that you think would play in here, feel free to add those in. Just a reminder, because it's been a little while, checks are D100s, and you want to roll under your relevant total skill.
I failed by 2.
Fail? Okay.
Yeah, I failed.
My highest skill.
Oh, gosh. Barely, but failed.
Okay. So, with 3 fails, first of all, each of you takes a stress. Were any of those critical failures?
Oh, so what makes a crit again?
Doubles.
Okay, no.
Okay. So, and just confirming, because it has been a while, everyone rolled above their number? Mm-hmm. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. It has been a while. Want to make sure that you're not giving false negatives here. So, what I'm going to say that does, what did the 3 of you roll? I know you all failed, but I need to know who rolled who rolled what here.
I misread mine. I actually passed. I thought I rolled a 63. I actually rolled a 36.
Hey, that's a big difference. So no stress point for you. So between the 2 doctors,
My strength was 43. I rolled a 45.
45, okay.
Yeah.
Mine was 33, and I rolled 36.
30. Oh, okay.
Barely
so,
failed.
in that case, I'm going to do this randomly. 1 and... Okay. Dr. Carpenter, as you are climbing, like I said, it's still pouring rain. Sheets of it. And it obscures a lot of your visibility. The climbing itself is hard. It's outside your area of expertise. And so you barely even notice the protrusion from the wall as you bump into it. Actually, really quick, as you bump into it, what do you do in that exact moment as you suddenly realize that you have made contact with it?
Just freeze, hoping that my stillness will radiate out into not disturbing.
That I can project my calmness.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen. Not one bit.
As you stop and wait, you hear as the material, the filaments of the outside begin to gurgle and are pierced. The Marines, seeing this, go! And start like hustling as fast as they friggin' can. Anyone who wants to so Charles, you don't need to make this because of your success. The other two, though, I would like you to make me a speed check.
Pass.
Pass, okay?
Okay. Also pass.
Whew! Okay. So as as Valdez shouts, "Go!" Charles, you had already made some good progress, very mechanically, just hand over hand, boom, 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 boom. And the other two, though, who was more difficult, sheer adrenaline gets you climbing quickly. And if you even dare to look below you, the sight of large crab-like shapes beginning to emerge from the walls is all the motivation you need to hustle. And as you all reach the top of the chimney successfully, managing to pull yourself up this slick, wet metal, flopping over onto your back, some of you just exhausted. There is the sound of a nearby engine revving, and you see two ATVs, just like the ones that the Marines rescued you all on initially. Nearby, lights pointing forward into the rain. You also hear the cocking of a gun. And you hear a voice that you recognize of the medic that you all spoke with inside the garage of Heron Base. The young man who was desperately wanting to go call for evac and leave. He's on one of the ATVs with a gun leveled your direction. The other ATV, also driven by a Marine, also has a gun leveled toward all of you. Are you infected?
No.
They're clear. For paper cuts.
Show me your hands. Put them in the light.
Show my hands, front and back.
The other Marines do the same. Valdez does the same, but Jesus fucking Christ, Brookman. As all of you show that you have no signs of infection. Thank fuck for that. It's all gone fucked. After you all left, Dr. Edam went to try to get their notes back. Haven't seen them since.
And scientists.
What about you all? Any luck? And as he says that, there is a loud kunk. And all lights that had still been shining around the base go dark. The only light around you now is from the headlights of the ATVs and your own personal flashlights and headlamps. Fuck! I guess that answers that. Well, we're getting the fuck out of here like we said we should. If you want to come, come.
I mean, should we do this for Holloway, though?
I don't know, Charles. We might actually need to pack that away. We might need that for this escape.
Yeah, and also, firing that thing into a silo might not be the greatest idea.
Charles,
Charles, let's save it.
Okay. Let's go.
I know how much Holloway meant, but we gotta get out of here, bud.
Yeah, we've got to go.
All right. We'll use the explosive machine later.
Yes.
He wouldn't want us to throw our lives away recklessly.
Valdez walks up and starts talking with Brookman a little bit. And then she starts giving orders to Pedro and Novikov. Two of you, back to the base. Get everyone who's still alive. We're going to go call for evac. Get them ready. Get it done. On it, boss. You got it, boss. And they start jogging through the rain that direction. Brookman looks to the other Marine who was traveling with them on the ATVs. Tanaka, you go back too. Before you do, looks at the three of you. Any of you any good with machines?
Depends on what kind of machine.
Yeah, I have a little experience if it's a computer.
Good enough.
No, pretty useless for those.
Tanaka. And PFC Tanaka walks over to you, bandaged up a little bit, injured from something that happened earlier. Look, here's how you... resetting the controls in the tower and the orbital relay. It's relatively simple, but you have to know what to do. And tells you exactly what to do to reset both of those things.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
After having communicated that, Brookman instructs Tanaka to go with the other two Marines, get everyone else ready for evac. Valdez, you ready? Climbs on back of Brookman's ATV, and there is also nearby a third ATV. The headlights were just off, you didn't quite notice it, but so there are enough extra ATVs for the three of you as well. And as Brookman and Valdez climb on and start revving the engine, ready? As you all look at the direction that the ATVs are pointed and towards the tower, you notice a few things. Between you and the tower is the dam on the river. It's a 10-foot wide wall, and on one side there's a 60-meter drop. On the other is the nearly overflowing lake. The rain continues to pour in sheets. You also notice two other things. One, there is a ladder relatively nearby that leads to a catwalk that traverses the very top of the dam. Not drivable, but walkable. The second thing that you notice is that just at the very edge of the headlight's light, you can see the shape of a cark. The two Marines, seeing The other Marines start to go back to Heron Base, and you all sticking around. Kicks on the engine, shouts over the loud roar, "All right! Let's fucking do this!" What about the three of you, though?
I don't know if we should take the ATVs, guys. Like, it just draws so much attention. Like, I see this catwalk, and I wonder if we could just get up there, make our way across as stealthily as possible. If anything decides to follow us, I guess, I don't know, shoot the dam and try and blow the water through and keep a distance between us. How's that sound?
Yeah, no, that's about the best I could come up with because, I mean, let's be honest, those ATVs probably won't help us outrun them if they begin chasing us.
Yeah, and they're dark. We don't know which angle they could come from. They could just swarm at the.
I'll also
engines.
tell you all this, something that you're able to deduce, being all intelligent individuals. That lake is really high, and the rain has not shown signs of stopping. It is highly possible that if this keeps up, you all could be at the tower when it gets separated by the running water from the rest of the base. Just for what it's worth, that's something you all are able to just look at and determine. If it stops raining now, you're fine. If it keeps raining for another hour, probably not.
All right, so you're saying, so we could end up crossing the dam, we'd be at the tower, but then we're cut off from the rest of the base.
Definitely a possibility.
So, let me ask you this. If we call evac, where would it land?
That's a very interesting question.
We don't know? Okay.
Well, I mean, that's just an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, in normal situations, probably wherever you are. You know, normally when there's a dropship, it lands on the ground and as close to you as possible while being safe for you all to come get on board. But
fair enough. Yeah, I say we go ahead and go for that now, and maybe would it be worth maybe turning on an ATV and sending it off in a different direction for a couple of seconds of distraction?
I actually think that might be a good shot to try and draw any attention away from us. That way we can pick up the pace and not have to be so slow.
All right. I'm sure they'll probably buy us a few moments.
Brookman, while still at the front of the ATV, shouts over one more time to you all. 3 of you be sure to keep up! I've got the only key card for the control room.
Okay, so says Brookman and Valdez are on an ATV about to head for the tower.
They haven't, they're just like revving the engine right now. They haven't actually departed quite yet, but yeah, that's their plan.
They're about to head for the tower. Okay. Yeah, I say we go ahead and go for the tower. Especially since he's got that only key card.
That makes it tough.
What good is it if we get there without them, or we're stuck. So if we're gonna go for the tower, we might as well go with them.
I concur.
Well, do either Valdez or Brookman know what I forgot his name told us on how to fix the satellites?
I'm not as good at it as Tanaka. I was hoping you'd be able to handle that. If you can't, you can tell me though.
Well, now I'm just thinking in the interest of like, what if we get separated and whatnot? What if you guys get there and we don't? You're fucked. But if we get there and you don't, we're fucked. So I'm wondering if maybe Charles or I should take the card.
He pulls it out from like a chest pocket and just hands it extends it to whomever wants it.
I'll hold on to it.
Okay.
All right. So, I think it's time we better go and get out of here, one way or another.
Let's move.
Yeah.
So,
Wonderful.
on foot to the tower.
Ooh, yeah. Which
think
one?
so.
Which
I'm
are we
thinking
doing?
let's do it on foot. We have the card now. Let's go on foot.
On foot.
Okay. So, just to make sure I understand, the plan is that you all are going to go via catwalk.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Wonderful. As you point towards the ladder, Brookman and Valdez give you a nod, and Valdez gives a bit of a lingering look as the ATV takes off and starts driving down the dam. The rest of you start climbing up the ladder. The the catwalk that you emerge onto isn't very wide, only wide enough for two of you to walk shoulder to shoulder across. But there are railings up here. And my question is, how are you all proceeding now that you're up here? Are you running? Are you walking carefully?
Gonna be a little bit of a jog.
Okay.
Yeah, like a brisk mall walker pace.
We're trying not to draw attention, but definitely not trying to be tiptoeing around.
Okay. Yeah. Love it. Love it. All right. So just trying to keep good pace, but definitely not sprinting and, thud, 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 thud.
Yeah.
So then the three of you see as the headlights of the ATV take off, leaving you all behind fairly quickly. But as you're walking, much slower than the ATV, you hear the distant sound of an impact and screams. And then you continue to hear, "Ah! Ah, no! Ah!"
I guess we chose the right path. Fuck. Let's keep going, guys.
Okay, so just to be clear,
Yeah.
do we know for sure that was Brookman and his, I guess, whoever he was riding with?
What I would say is, certainty? No. There are reasonable clues that would lead you to have that as your best guess. It came from the right direction. It was at least one scream. Might have been another buried underneath there. It was the right direction. Now to answer the next question there, do you know if they're dead? No.
Okay.
If you want to, like, when you get to that spot, like, use your flashlight to look around, you certainly can. And that might give you more information. It's up to you.
Okay.
But what I will say is the walk up here is, at your current pace, going to take you about 15 minutes from one end to the other. It is a long dam. But you see from up here as you continue making progress, as the tower, the looming tower with the large orbital relay comes into view, you see, even without pointing your flashlight down, just occasionally looking over, it's very dark, but you can see the occasional glossy, large shapes of these things down on the dam. Right below you. They don't seem to notice you right now, as you quietly continue to walk overhead, the white noise of the rain obscuring the vibrations of your steps. Do you do anything between here and the tower? Okay. So just to clarify, You're not going to look over to try to investigate and see what happened. I'm not trying to guide you. I'm just trying to make sure.
I'm thinking keep a steady pace. No need to shine a flashlight down there.
Right. I do have one question. I remember previously the bioscanner you said, what was the range on it you gave? It says
It's about 60 feet.
60 feet. And you said that was a 60-meter drop from the dam of the catwalk we're on.
So it's a 60. The dam is a 60-meter drop. The catwalk is only up about 40 feet from the road section of the dam.
And did the scanner make noise? Does it like beep like a radar sonar type thing?
Not really. I mean, it has an option that you can have like the sounds on there.
Oh no,
if you want.
we're gonna mute that. We're turning.
I kind of thought.
I appreciate the feature.
Maybe it's a convenient feature in this game. Turn ringer off.
What I was gonna do is, as we're making our way across, I was gonna try and pull out the scanner and maybe get an idea.
I love it. I love it. Here's what I'll say.
But I'm not slowing down for it. So it's
No,
whatever
I
I
dig
can
it.
get as I maintain pace.
So you pull that out as you approach the general area where you think that all went down. And as you're walking and looking, the life signs on here vary depending on the size of the life form. The bigger the life form, the bigger the blip. So it is fairly easy, even with a 60-foot range, to distinguish a Kark from a humanoid life form. Fairly easy. You get several readings that are way bigger than humans. You see the 3 readings of you and Dr. Carpenter and Charles. And you even see down on the road part of the dam a bit of an orange light of a fire. And once you get close, you look at your bioscanner and you see one humanoid life form that is very faint in that area. Decisions.
Right. As I get that reading, I actually do start to slow down for a moment. But then it's like the situation, it basically taps me on the shoulder. It's like, look, I know you want to, but do you realize what's going on here?
I love that, like, you, instead of the angel and devil on your shoulder, Dr. Wilson, you have, like, the optimist and the realist.
That's pretty much what's going on here.
The real guys that Carpenter should have had in those early sessions.
It's like, I know you want to save him. I know you want to, but realistically, what are the odds of being able to save him? And I kind of get back up to the normal pace, and I even think about the other 2 that are with me, and I don't even risk the noise of talking, and I just keep going.
And we have a moment where we just focus on Dr. Anthony's face. Or Dr. Wilson's face, excuse me. Anthony Wilson. Dr. Wilson's face. And just see that internal struggle and where humanity and optimism are overridden by survival instinct. And the 3 of you continue to walk towards the tower. The tower itself comes more clearly into view after, like I said, about 15 minutes. You end up almost right against it. The tower is constructed with giant metal girders. There is the perforated metal on the outside, and even from here, you can tell that there are two ways of getting up. There is a ladder, and there are two ladders, excuse me, that go up the side, and there is also a lift inside of it. This is fairly standard, that none of that is surprising. But as you all get just about 1 minute or so away from it, you still have your bioscanner out, you just never put it away. And you look down and see way too many of those large shapes right at the edge of your visibility range on the bioscanner in all directions, behind you and in the overflowing lake area. There are bunches, and they start moving your direction on the scanner, even though as they're moving on the scanner, you turn behind you and you can't see them. So dark, but you know they're there.
So, all right. So with that, trying to still be quiet somewhat at least, I kind of tap the other two to get their attention, and then I just show them the scanner. And so they can see all the life forms that are coming through or are showing up. And you said that we are surrounded by them now.
I mean, they aren't right next to you, luckily. But you see easily half dozen in range that in the lake, and about 3 at the very end of the range back on the dam. And if you just look at that thing, at that bioscanner for another 20 or 30 seconds, another blip shows up. And the rain continues to pour. Charles and Dr. Carpenter, I would say, in the exact moment that Dr. Wilson is looking at the bioscanner, the two of you also notice that you see a small door in the base of the tower that, with your familiarity with these basic prefab bases, would likely lead to a maintenance closet of sorts. So there is, here at the base of the tower, there are ladders on both sides that go up. There is inside, right inside the metal girders is the lift. You can literally see it from outside because it's just one of those open ones. And there is that door. Those are the 3 things you notice down here. And then Dr. Wilson notices all those things on the bioscanner.
Fuck. I don't know if we should risk riding that lift. It's fucking noisy as hell. Even with all this rain, I doubt that would get away scot-free.
Nah, there's no way. There's no way the rain's gonna cover a whole elevator.
Mm-hmm.
Charles, what are you seeing?
Well, you know what I've got slung over my back. So if we can get all these masses to a bit of a trap, I mean, hey, I could probably blow some of them to hell. But
Well, you're thinking that if they're in the lake and below the dam, might be worth it to get some elevation on one of these ladders, and maybe Charles, you fire one down for Holloway at the dam.
aye, aye, Captain. Doctor.
It might be our best option.
Tell me where to go.
Okay, so real quick,
Carpenter's already being attacked.
right, one of them's got him already. Save
Yeah,
yourselves.
we were being so disciplined, but there was a very cute dog on the screen, taking up a lot of one of the screens
Trying
for
to
a
stay in
long time. No, I respect saying in character despite the attempts at getting affection. Notice me.
Right. All right, so we're talking about trying to get up high and actually just blow the dam and see if we can flood them out.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a one-way street for us. We either succeed here or there's no going back.
No, there isn't. With the way they're coming around us as if they know it's almost like they know we're here anyway. And it's like they're waiting to see what we do.
All right.
So let's do something to them.
Let's get up. Let's take the left ladder. Charles, you hang in the back. Wilson, let's climb up. Keep climbing. Charles, when we're about halfway to the point, do your thing, man.
You got it.
All right.
Okay, you all still have been rather quiet up until this point. So there aren't any currently coming right at you, which is nice. Now, am I correct in understanding you all are now going to be climbing the ladders up? Okay. Could everyone please... actually... Fucking lucky bastards. Because there is nothing currently attacking you or anything, or harassing you, climbing is a fairly simple matter. I will say that as you get in here and start to climb up, you all observe that the lack of power that was at Heron Base is still here too. There's no power on. And all of you, I'm going to make a check here, but this is one where if you fail won't cause stress. So this is just to see something. All of you can make intellect checks really quick. Anyone pass? One pass? Okay, so remember for the other two, it doesn't cause stress. This is my own thing here. So Charles, then you are very familiar with these prefab bases. And you know that all independent buildings are required to have independent generators for exactly a situation like this. Especially one that powers the communications. Now, clearly, whatever generator might be responsible for this tower is not operating currently, but that is just something you are aware of.
And would I know where this backup generator is?
Precisely? No.
Fellas, there's a backup generator. And it is made for situations like this. I think, I don't know where it would be, but maybe after we blow this dam to high hell, we turn the power back on and we try to make some calls to get out of here.
Do you think it'd be where that door leads?
I think that's probably a good start.
Because that's right. Yeah, we're gonna need that generator in order to even do what we have to do for the communication array, aren't we? Damn it, we're gonna have to do something with it.
Yeah.
So, do we go after the generator before or after blowing the dam?
I was gonna say, as excited as I am to fire this rocket in the name of our dear friends, perhaps this is the end of the plan, as the good doctor is suggesting. Maybe we find this generator and again try to get the ship here, then take care of business. Get some evac.
Okay. Well, you say they're moving in, Wilson. How much time do you think we have to investigate this backup generator?
All right, I'll look down and check.
Crash of lightning and thunder as the storm continues.
Okay. Are the creatures... do they seem to be moving in on us?
Not in a concerted way right now. Now, there are ones that move closer, but then they stop. And then they might move a little away. You are quite surrounded, but they don't seem to be actively noticing you right now.
They're just kind of milling about.
Yeah, they're just all around you.
So it's possible that they don't even know we're here, but they're possible. Yeah. So with the way things are going now, they don't seem to be onto us. But once we turn that generator on, they'll almost certainly be after us. Because they're gonna hear. They're gonna hear all that stuff.
Inside.
That too. Can I get an idea of how many are in the tower? Never mind in the outside area. Or
you get one reading in the tower. And it is Kark sized.
One Kark. If we get in, turn on the generator. See, that's where everything is going to go to hell. As soon as we turn that generator on, they're going to go active. We may have to blow the dam as soon as we reactivate the generator. But then, of course, how do Valdez and the others get back to us if we blow the dam?
It's true. I wonder if they're even alive at this point. I mean, someone's going to say it.
That too. That's a fair question at this point.
No, I'm feeling...
Anybody outside the three of us, we don't know who is alive now. So.
Yeah, the only guarantee we have is who's standing before us right now. I think...
I mean, I want to be clear. If we want to blow the dam up right now, I am still very okay with that. But I agree it would be unwise. I'm excited. What can I say?
Yeah, that blowing the dam is going to be a true point of no return. Once we blow the dam, that's going to send them flooding, and we don't know how they're going to act. They might just come back to the tower as like a defense position or something. All we know.
And they do like water. They do like water a lot.
Right. At best, the flood went only to slow them down for a couple of minutes, maybe before they came right back.
Yeah, it would irritate them.
At best.
More than anything. Do we try to get inside? Is that the move?
Yeah.
No, blow the dam. We can save that for Rocket for if we run into that thing in there.
Bro, and I have my pulse rifle, so I'm ready to go.
Alright, I say we go for the generator and hope we can get it back on before they come after us.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think that's the move. Let's fucking go, boys. So, I think let's check out this store.
All right. You go to that door that you noticed here on the base level of the tower, and it is locked, but it seems like very minimal in terms of the lock. In all likelihood, something that could be broken down.
Okay. I think I'm gonna try and force it.
How do you try to break it? Just out of curiosity.
I mean, just hold on and which way does the door swing?
In.
In? Okay. I'm gonna try and slam my shoulder into it.
Yeah, absolutely. No problem at all. You and the lock just breaks, and you see a very dark room.
Yeah, turn my flashlight on and start peeking around.
Looking around, lots of cables and assorted tools, and there, in the corner, there's a small backup generator with based off of your knowledge and the size of the fuel tank right next to it, should probably run for, based off the levels of fuel, up to about 6 hours.
Well, bingo, guys. That's can't believe we got it on that first try. Let's check this out.
Okay. Okay. Let's not turn it on yet, though, because I'm curious.
Yeah. Let's try and game plan here.
Okay. So.
Well, we don't have to go further into the tower. We could start it and then just run, or have a couple people already start to climb, have someone down here start it and run. That we can keep with the original plan. And get back up to the ladders and start climbing.
Well, I could
Because
start.
once that kicks on, the noise is just going to draw them down here. You'd think, right?
I would be honored to start the generator and then blow up the dam.
Okay. Charles?
Okay.
This is what androids are for.
Been nothing but helpful, man. All right, Wilson. Let's get back out there and start climbing.
All right.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
before we break or whatever for it is, plan then is the two of us, we're going to start continuing to climb up to get to the comm center. Charles is going to stay. He's going to, start the generator, then blow the dam, and then try to come back up with us. Okay. Do we have an idea of, like, how far is it to the comm center from where we are in the generator room? Like, how much of a climb, or how long of a climb? I guess how long will it take us
It's
to get
about
there?
100-foot tower.
Okay.
Okay.
And the control rooms typically, so you don't have to go all the way to the roof, because 100 feet, that's where, like, the satellite is. So probably about 80 feet.
Okay, so we're looking at about an 80-foot climb. And okay. All right, let's try to get an idea. And also take a quick glance at the scanner. Like, is the results changing after bashing the door open? It still looks like
It was one of those very fortunate things, and we can attribute it to Dr. Carpenter being smart, and that was waiting for lightning, waiting for thunder, and just
That's kind of where
shouldering
I was thinking.
at
I
the
didn't
same
mention it,
time.
but that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, so in that exact, because it was a weaker lock and easily done with a shoulder check, don't get me wrong, a few of the blips are closer than they were and are moving slowly but consistently this direction. They aren't charging, though, but something caught their attention.
all right. We need to get moving.
Okay. So then with Charles down below, Charles, are you waiting for a command, or do you have a timer in your head, essentially?
Maybe watch our progress.
Yeah.
If you, like, come outside of the maintenance closet, you can then watch as they climb, and then you could easily go back in to start it.
Yeah. Am I waiting for you guys to get to the top, or?
I would say maybe halfway.
Yeah. I'll go in and start the generator.
Yeah. Let us get a little bit of a head start.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All right.
That's what I'll do. I'll go. I'll be watching. They'll hit the halfway point. Kind of casually walk back in. I'll do my thing. Turn it on.
We see the two doctors, Dr. Wilson and Carpenter, climbing up the ladder one after the other. Charles down below, the rain pouring on him as he watches, and then stepping back inside the maintenance closet and turning on the small but still noticeable engine of a generator. The grinding, loud motor. We see. Charles can't immediately see because he's inside, but we, with the benefit of the omniscient camera, can see large, slick, heavy-shelled, heavy carapace creatures all in unison turning that direction and starting to start bolting that way. So I'm going to temporarily separate you into two groups, and I'm going to be talking with each group independently. So first, Charles, as soon as you get the generator kicked on, lights inside even the control room, faint ones, but lights inside this maintenance closet flicker on. And you can see, even just looking outside the door, that the exterior lights have kicked on as well. What do you do in that exact moment?
Is a pretty straight shot to the dam. Like if I stepped out the door, like would I be looking at the dam?
The door is just like on the wrong side, but yeah, if you just step out, you can absolutely see the dam.
Okay. I'm gonna basically, and this was my plan all along. I start that generator, I whip out the rocket launcher, and I just step out and I take aim at whatever the weakest possible spot I can just aim and fire at is.
Okay, and after shooting, what will be your immediate next move?
To a bolt towards the ladders that the doctors are climbing toward. I'm gonna just drop the RPG.
I love it. And so here is what I actually would love you to do. Could you roll me a D10 really quick? 5. 5 Karks are immediately blown to pieces. And again, if Dr. Wilson were able to look at the bioscanner, you would see 5 of those blips disappear.
When I fired the rocket launcher, I went, and then I dropped it.
The epic line drowned out by the huge explosion and thunder, but as it impacts the dam, large sections of masonry fall with the initial blast, pushed by the water that, with just a little bit of divot created initially, is now starting to pour over the wall, and then more chunks of it, and more and more. It's not like the whole dam is going to fall, but there is a large V-shaped wound in the dam that gets formed by the pressure of the water pushing on the vulnerable sections of masonry here, as it just starts to this huge fountain of water from the overflowing lake pushing through. And then you turn and start to climb up the ladder. We cut really quickly to the other two, who you were about 50 or 60 feet up when suddenly there is a rocking explosion. Could the two of you please make me body saves? That is Dr. Carpenter and Dr. Wilson. Need body saves from the two of you, please.
Okay. Success.
Mm-hmm. Success. Okay. So I'll say the two of you, like, you're rocked a little bit by the noise and the impact, but you manage to, both of you maintain hold, no stress points, but you keep climbing. You eventually, after 80 feet, get to the top here, and you see in front of you a door. It has a keycard style lock on the outside of it.
And I pull out the card and I run.
Okay, you, and there it flashes green. There is a clunk as the lock of the door is undone, and you begin to open it. Cutting back to Charles, you begin to climb up the ladder, and you just hear these gurgling, screeching sounds from all around you as you start to feel them impact and land on the side of the tower. You look down below you. You've already climbed about 20 feet, and you see a few of those sharp-tipped claws at the end of their crab-like legs that have pierced through the wall and are beginning to climb up the tower. And as you continue to climb, there is a rocking as one of the claws comes in to try to claw at you. Could you make me a body save now?
Yes. Okay, let's see. No, I failed it.
Did you critically fail?
No.
Wonderful. In that case, you take a stress point, but what happens is this claw comes in, it rocks the part that you're in. You start to lose your grip and fall, but you catch yourself just 2 rungs down. So you take a stress point, but because it wasn't a critical failure, you don't fall all the way down, and you manage to continue to climb up. And so you will just be about 30, 60 seconds behind the other two. And we cut back to Dr. Wilson and Dr. Carpenter. The card is approved, the door unlocks. You open the door. And right there in the center of the control room, sprawled across the floor, is a living Kark, taking up most of this space. Could the two of you make me fear saves with disadvantage? So just a reminder, that means you will take the worst result. So in this case, higher. So that is Dr. Wilson and Dr. Carpenter, fear saves with disadvantage. Passed, all right.
Okay. You know what? When you're doing a fear save,
Yes.
you still lose, right?
Yeah, in this game, you lose ties.
Okay. All right. I lost it anyway because of the disadvantage. I lost it with
Okay.
a 59.
59, okay.
59
still,
of 18.
Still not a critical failure,
Rated
which is
above?
always good. Above is bad, below is
Okay,
good.
cool. Then we're fine. I'm
Yeah,
fine.
no problem.
I was going to
I'm
tell
fine.
that one.
And that's what matters. Well, Dr. Wilson, you take a stress point.
Okay.
And so you immediately recoil seeing this thing, starting to back towards the door, ready to bolt right back down the ladder you just came up. But Dr. Carpenter, you keep your head just a little bit longer, and you notice the Kark is strapped to the ground. You can tell it's breathing. And there are parts of it that look to have been forcibly jacked into the controls of the communication tower. And because you kept your head, you're able to see it has these clusters of humanoid-looking eyes. Very disconcerting to see in a cluster like that. But they all flick towards you. And it has this pathetic look in its eyes. Of something just begging for death. Charles, just a few seconds later, you walk into the room or you run into the room, slamming the door behind you, and see this Kark. I will also let you know, Charles, that those things were continuing to climb the ladder. And even as you close the door in here, all three of you can hear the sound of impacts and tearing metal.
Guys, we gotta do something. There's a lot of them. A lot.
There is a banging on the outside of the control room walls.
There's like so many, I couldn't count them. Like we gotta move. We gotta do something. I don't know what this is right here. Dr. Carpenter, you gotta explain yourself.
Well, look at this thing, Charles. It's plugged in.
Well, what
You
do we do
remember
with
that
that?
signal that came on when we got here? I think this is the source. I think they've somehow managed to wire one of these creatures into the comm system to broadcast whatever that infecting fucking signal is. We gotta cut it out.
Dr. Wilson, as they're having this conversation, you see along the windows, bulletproof glass windows, but windows nonetheless, of the tower, you see those shapes climbing along, and you all hear the sound of stretching, squealing metal as the top corner of the door that you came in starts to be peeled backwards.
We've got to do something soon. They are going to
Charles.
be in here.
Pull out the pulse
Charles,
rifle.
we need a pulse rifle right now.
I want to use. Okay, here.
You already got to shoot the rocket. So I walk around this thing and I look at where it's plugged into the console, right? Is it just like...
You get the impression this could be like that there are, like, it looks like almost internal organs of this thing that have been pulled out and like
out.
attached in, but you feel like you could just rip it out.
All right, I'm going to keep the gun trained on him. I'm going to start pulling at the parts that were in the control panel.
Okay. The other two of you, as he's focused on ripping this out, that door peels back and these long, sharp claws begin to just stick their way inside, feeling around. Bang, bang, bang on the windows outside. You can feel palpably how surrounded you are. And whenever there is a crash of lightning and you can look through the windows, they are everywhere. The door squeals as the metal is peeled back. Do the two of you do anything in response in that moment?
Okay, so Carpenter, he's like trying to pull that creature free from those controls. Correct. Didn't you say that like some of those other tentacles were also like chained or cuffed or something to the floor?
The whole thing, the carc itself is strapped to the floor. Like it has these strips of metal that have been bolted into the ground with an impact drill to hold it there.
Okay. So while Carpenter is like freeing those things from the controls, I'm actually going to try and remove a strap. I have a crazy idea.
Okay. You have to, it's definitely going to require tools because like I said, strips of metal. You have tools though. You have tools. So you start pulling out your tools and start to like try to undo one of the bolts that is holding down one of the strips of metal. Charles, what about you?
I'm pulling out my SMG and I'm just like focused on this leg that's like breaking through, but I don't really see a shot. Like I know that this thing's not really gonna do anything against this beast and the many that are behind it.
So as you sit there waiting for your shot, as Dr. Wilson gets out tools to try to either cut the metal or undo the bolts holding this thing down, Dr. Carpenter, you managed to rip the last of these tendrils from the communication system. And there was on the screen this repeating waveform. And as you yank it, the waveform just goes flat. Bang, bang! The sound of screeching metal, but then when you pull the last part and the waveform goes flat, sounds of impacts stop. The claws that were reaching into the room slowly pull back out. You all collectively hold your breaths for about 20 seconds, just listening for any sign, and you hear, slowly, the impacts of these things climbing the tower down.
Well, finally get to pull these skills out. I'm going to use my exobiology skills to examine this creature and see what kind of damage has been done to it.
Okay.
And I use my exobiology as well to maybe help him, give him advantage in his search or whatever he's doing.
And I'm going to give Charles the pulse rifle back.
There is no roll necessary for this, for the two of you.
Okay.
As you look at it, the thing's legs have been brutalized. This thing is barely clinging to life. Looks like, at least based off of the way it looks compared to others, starved. And yeah, you definitely, inspecting it, you get the impression you were right, that this thing was plugged in and casting that signal.
It's somehow broadcasting organically through the comms, and that's what was infecting everybody.
Causing the infections.
Why?
Who could do this?
Who put this here?
I think we know who did it.
Carpenter.
I think we
Yeah.
met him back in the base. I believe we know who did this.
Oh, that's right.
It wouldn't put it. I absolutely would not put it past him to endanger an alien life form for his research. He's already willing to throw away human lives, so an alien creature would probably be nothing to him.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But what I don't get is, was that creature summoning the other ones to the tower for something? Or, like, why do they back off?
Well, I'm wondering if it even is a hive mind. Because once that signal went dead, they backed off. So
Right.
maybe if the signal is just repeating and broadcasting on a frequency that they all can hear, they're all feeling this, whatever might be driving the signal, what's sending this message. And I
Right.
don't know if it's this creature or if this creature is just a conduit for something or someone else.
Yeah, that's probably more research than we have time for, because
Yeah.
even if they
I mean,
back
like,
up the tower,
but look at it, like, look at its eyes. I mean, it doesn't seem like it's just savage and mindless murdering machine.
And how did this creature's sound create the things that came out of Holloway and Reese? Like that created whole new creatures within them. Just that sound.
Well, you wouldn't think that'd be possible to just plug a human brain into a computer and just have it start thinking into it.
but how can a parasite or any sort of other life form travel by sound waves? If I didn't know any better, maybe there's something about this planet specifically that by simply being on the planet, we're breathing in some spores, some sort of parasite that's in the rain. It's so microscopic and plentiful that it dominates the entire planet. And then
maybe
that
the
sound,
frequency-
the frequency triggers its growth.
Exactly. It's aggravating whatever natural thing that could emit a spore or something to that degree.
That's where the
Right.
the paper cuts come from.
Yeah.
The
Right.
awakening.
Yeah, it could just be in the air already, and then whenever the frequency happens, the particles just like attack.
Yeah. It's like it
And
wakes
that's
them up.
paper cuts.
And like they're dormant until they hear the frequency or something.
Yeah. And then they just attack. You know, like white blood cells. You know, and this frequency of pain from this creature is causing these particles to just attack whatever foreign tissue is there.
Right. But
Where do you
And
think
even-
they're all going now?
right, what are they doing now? Because if they're no longer attracted to this source, it almost seems like they weren't actually chasing us or Charles up the tower, because they saw him come into this tower, but as soon as the signal ended, they stopped pursuing. So it's almost like he was just in the way of something that they wanted up here.
And I'm wondering if it's this to help ease the pain of one of their own.
Maybe they were coming to mercy kill it, or try to help it, and then maybe mercy
Save
kill it
it,
if they couldn't
maybe.
help it.
Charles, as the two of them are continuing to have this conversation, you walk over just to one of the large windows facing the dam, where that large gash, now the water pouring over it. The water is still raining heavily, but you see as a few of those shapes move from the direction of the tower and back into the flooded lake. There are others that you can even see from this distance now that some power has been restored on this side, that you can see that cross the entirety of the dam and then descend into the chimney, the direction that you all just came from.
It looks like they're going back from to where we just came from. It looks like they're maybe returning, and some of them maybe get back into the dam. I think they might just be returning to their homes. They might just be calm right now. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like they don't even care about us anymore.
I wonder if
Maybe they never did.
I wonder if that'll change if they see us outside. I mean, we got to go somewhere, but I don't know. I think they still might be apex predators, no matter what's ringing in their ears.
Right.
Now,
Yeah.
What about this one?
that's what I was just going to ask. I think
And is it actually dead, or you said it was like right on death's door, basically?
I mean, it has been kept at the edge of death. Like I said, its legs have been, the claws, the tipped ends of them have just been hacked off. This thing is mutilated.
I still want to. Yeah. And it's still a matter of that, because I think we know who did it.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't even come in here to check on it. Maybe they figured when the signal ended, it was no longer here, therefore not worth investigating.
well, maybe because it's a broadcast, they had no idea where this thing was. And since we were the immediate apparent threat, they were chasing us. But once it went away, they had no reason to follow. So
So do we go ahead and finish this creature off? I don't even know if we freed it, could it even go back?
I don't think so. I think this thing's run its course. I think well, seeing how it reacted to us and everything, I think these creatures are not inherently hostile, mindless beasts, and just animals who feel pain and suffering. And if that were me, I would want something to be done about it. I'd like to be taken out too. Charles, do you think you could maybe spare just one pulse round?
I suppose I could. You don't think the SMG would do it? I could use some. No, I'll use the pulse rifle. It'll be quick.
Right.
So-
Yeah. Make it fast. Like, I don't know if there's something like a brain ahead that we can one shot it and finish it.
I'm gonna take aim at where I'm assuming where all the eyes are like the center of the creature, right? So I'm an android, so I'll look at it in all those eyes. I'll just be looking like straight. I'll be like kind of curious, like, oh, this thing's pretty crazy, like that initial curiosity I had.
There is a distinct intelligence in those eyes. I will say that. A very alien intelligence, but intelligence nonetheless.
And I try in my own android way to like say I'm sorry with my eyes, but it just kind of comes off like I'm just staring at it. And then I pull the trigger.
Straight through one of the clusters of eyes, and the little bit of straining stops.
I think it's done.
Thank you, Charles.
Happy to.
Thanks.
All right. Well, this didn't turn out to be quite the one-way ticket as I had anticipated. Let's get these comms back up. Let's get this evac going.
So, the machinery And the controls down here in the control center seem relatively undamaged, but there is still no signal that can get out with the orbital relay still down. However, as the three of you were climbing up to this door, you did notice that the ladders continued up about another 10 or 15 feet to the roof.
Oh, and also, before we, I guess, continue with the tower, the relay and everything, in the immediate room, is there anything along the lines of journals, logs, a data pad, notes?
You know, let me actually check here really quick. Is there any particular type of note you're looking for?
What I'm looking for are any sort of notes, journals, or logs by the doctor that we met at that base.
Got it. You start looking around. You don't see anything on the controls themselves, so you check the lockers. There are like 3 lockers here in this room. 2 of them, one of them is entirely empty. The other two have some things in them, no logs though. You do manage to find 5 stim packs, a flashlight, some bandages, and an inflatable raft. But in terms of notes or anything like that, none here.
So,
all of the notes were probably in that lab that Dr. Edom wanted to go to.
Okay. Yeah, I was hoping maybe something got left behind because I think we know who did this. So I guess all that's left is to get the array ready, and once that's back up, we should be able to attempt contact with Valdez or anybody else that might still be alive.
Correct. Did Tanaka give us any instructions about the orbital array?
Yes,
Okay.
let you know fully, you and Charles let you know how to reset it.
Okay. Is it a 2-man job? Or
Not
could someone
necessarily.
be...
No, it could be
Okay.
done by one person, conceivably.
Okay. Charles, how would you feel about climbing up on the roof and fiddling with those satellites for us?
Aye, Doctor.
All right, then we watch Charles head out onto the catwalk that surrounds the control room to the ladders and then up to the roof. It's still pouring heavily. The rain is running along the slightly slanted roof like a river. So your steps have to be pretty careful up here. But there is a gigantic satellite dish and the controls not too far from here. You also notice what looks like a dog up here, but you, being a synthetic, immediately recognize this also as a synthetic. This is a synthetic bloodhound. And right next to the bloodhound is the body of a Marine. You can see on the bloodhound's muzzle blood. And as you walk up, it just turns its head to you.
Is the Marine, is this Marine dead of natural causes? Do we have some cuts, some exploded faces?
You walk over towards it, and you notice 2 things about the body. 1, paper cuts. 2, doesn't seem to have died from natural causes, but it doesn't look like that this Marine was killed from the inside, and instead looks like it was mauled from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
You also can deduce didn't put up a fight. There are no signs of struggle on the part of the Marine, no blood under the fingernails, no scratches or anything on the bloodhound.
I look at the dog. Does the dog have any sort of, other than the bloody snout?
No paper cuts or anything like that on the body. Just
I'm gonna pet this dog. I'm gonna say, hey, good boy. I think you did a great thing. And then
Next to the Marine, by the way, is a very large rifle.
Give me it.
This is a Wilbur Mark II anti-material rifle, or an AMR. There are 12 shots currently in the magazine of this.
Love it.
But this is a long-range weapon.
I'm ready. We'll need it. So I take that. I sling it with the pulse rifle. I'm a little weighed down, but I'm an android. It doesn't matter. And continue on to the satellite. And, I'm going to just kind of snap like this and see if this android dog follows me.
Happily, pads right behind you.
Awesome. And then go to the satellite and get to work.
As Charles begins getting the orbital relay back up and running, we cut down temporarily to the control room. What are the two doctors doing while you wait? Anything?
I'm checking to see if there's any system damage as far as being able to broadcast to the orbital ship.
You find the microphone seems to still be intact. You double check the systems. Other than the weird bodily fluids that are where this thing had been ported into here, it seems in functional shape.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Wilson, what about you?
Okay, so I don't know much about how communications work or anything like that. So I'm trying to figure out a way to contact Valdez and the others to see about who survived. Is there anybody left?
Yeah, any short range communicator.
Exactly. So you are looking for the short range communications controls and information. So as the two of you are looking for this and making sure that it's all still functional, looking for short range communication, there is suddenly a beep beep and a series of green text comes across the main monitor. Orbital relay communication restored. And Charles, we see you punch in the final button and the lights go green as the orbital relay slowly begins to shift positioning as it comes back online.
Hell yeah, Charles.
So as Charles climbs back down the ladder and rejoins the three of you. Yeah, and helps. Charles re-enters with a dog.
And a rifle. Another rifle.
And a rifle.
Well, who's your little buddy there, Charles?
Okay.
What am I going to name him?
He does have a collar.
I will use Cerebus, but what's your name? I'm gonna be.
There's a little tag that says Marlowe.
Marlowe Cerebus Charles. Welcome to the family. We have a new member.
All right.
Oh, I should have named him Holloway.
You still can.
If it has puppies, we'll name one Marla.
The time has crossed. The time has elapsed.
Nope, I already said it. Can't do it. Can't change
not finalized.
Marlo Cerebus Charles Holloway.
Named it after yourself? Okay, whatever.
It's one of those four namers.
It looks like it worked, and we have restored everything here.
MCCH. It's my dog. Anyway, how's the communications going? Do we have a ship coming?
I'm attempting to establish contact with the Metamorphosis right now.
So,
excellent.
As you begin to try to hail the Metamorphosis, hello? Anyone there? And you just get a crackly response of, Carpenter? That you? The fuck happened to you all? We've been trying to get in touch with you this whole time.
Yeah, it's me. It's been a long day. To put it bluntly, we of the original party, only Charles and I seem to be remaining.
The person that you're speaking with starts to say something. Well, then, and then you hear as they're like shoved aside, and you hear a new voice.
Dr. Carpenter, this is Moss. Report. What's been happening down there?
Sir, it, like, to put it in the shortest way possible, there has been a betrayal on a massive scale that has left pretty much 90% of the colonists and our party dead.
Have you recovered Dr. Edam or Hinton's core?
No, but that's the problem.
Unacceptable! That is a requirement for this mission. I demand that...
And again, you hear as this individual gets like,
what do you think you're doing? How dare you?
Carpenter, this is Captain Marks. We're going to be sending evac for you. Where are you?
We're in the comms tower currently, sir.
Comms tower. Is it safe to land?
I believe it is now. However, I would avoid making any kind of contact with Dr. Edam.
Understood. We'll send a ship your way right now. Stay safe. And stay by these communications.
Thank you, sir.
click. You all know, just based off of how long it took you to get from the metamorphosis to here, that you've got at least 20 minutes before that thing gets here. Probably longer.
Well, I think we ought to keep trying and see if we can establish any short communications there, Wilson. Because any survivors, we gotta get them the hell out of here, get them the hell out of there and to this comms tower.
Yeah.
Could I get one of you, I don't care who, to just roll me a d10, please?
I got it.
All right, cool.
4.
4. Okay, that's good. All right. So, do you try to get the short distance communications online?
Yeah.
As you do, and I'm going to say, Dr. Wilson, you were kind of spearheading this. You managed to tap into the short-range communications, but you can't get anyone to answer. What you can do is simply, essentially open it to listen to the feeds that are currently going on. And what you end up hearing is just a series of screams and bullets being fired no matter which channel you flip to. And from here, you can see, as you look out of the windows, and see that Karks have started to climb up in huge numbers and are flooding towards the main Heron base. I mean, from here, you can count 30. Those are just the ones you can count and see.
I lose count at 30. Wow. Okay. I'm assuming the two of them probably already looked up, or we're all looking out the window and seeing this happen as they descend on Heron base. Okay.
Well, you suddenly hear crackling, and the familiar voice of Renfield. Hey, hope everybody down there is having a grand old time. It's raining really hard. We're not going to be able to land. This is going to have to be a hovering evacuation. So everyone, if you're still in the tower and you can hear this, get the fuck outside now.
All right, you heard the man. Let's go, guys.
Let's go.
As you all head out into the rain pouring down on you, you see below the tower a dozen Karks. And as the dropship begins to come into view above you all, the lights, like floodlights, just pouring down. You're able to count so many more of them as the huge beams of lights cast down onto the ground and waters, and you see dozens and dozens and dozens. And as the ship begins to hover near the tower, they once again begin to start climbing from the bottom up. The ship is about 30 feet above, or about 20 feet above where you all are, and one of the side doors opens and a rope is thrown out and is dangling right by the catwalk. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your ride. If you wouldn't mind getting the fuck on board so we can get out of here.
All right, Wilson, you go. Charles, can you cover us?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, getting the fuck out.
Could you make me a body save, please? And I'm going to give you advantage on this because of the rope.
Okay. Good. Okay, you gave advantage. I had a 17 and a 40.
Woo! So you have to take a little bit of a leap of faith here to jump and grab, and there's that heart-wrenching moment of where you feel your hands lack purchase on the rope as it's slick and you start to slide, but you manage to catch just as you were hitting the bottom of it and begin to slowly climb up. It does take you about 2 minutes to just climb up this thing carefully, though, as you pull yourself up. And as you reach the top, Renfield grabs your hand as the other pilot is currently up front, grabs you and pulls you in and just touches his ear. All right, kids, next.
All right, my turn.
All right, could you also make me a body save with advantage, please?
Okay. What's advantage, 10?
So advantage is roll it twice and take the better result.
Okay. 17 on 25.
17, okay, so you jump and manage to start climbing up. As you are climbing, there is a huge clap of thunder and a strong gust of wind. You have to hold on to the rope as the dropship itself has to correct, and you swing backwards and forwards a few times, and all of you hear on your now working personal communications, "This is getting pretty fucking hairy out here. If we wait any longer, we're taking some risks." And then, Dr. Carpenter, you manage to get yourself all the way to the top. And you watch as Renfield leans, and Anders, who is at the front, the same two who dropped you off, looks back, and the two of them exchange nervous glances. So I'll let you know, a little look behind the board. If they wait for Charles, there is a 10% chance of something really bad happening. But that choice is all yours.
Fucking 10%. Let's get Charles out!
We're getting Charles. We're not leaving Charles behind.
All right, so as
He's
the
got
two
all
of
the guns.
That too. He can shoot us down if he gets mad.
Yeah, he's anti-material us.
and the two of them hear you say this, and they shrug to each other, and Renfield, "Fuck it." And Charles, you coming along?
Well, while I was supposed to be covering Carpenter, I was actually taking the dog back into the room, into the communications room, and closed the door and I'm so sorry. I didn't know there'd be a hella rescue. Hey, be well, my boy. So then I go back to the rope, and yeah, I'm trying. I'm going.
Just lies down.
I close the door gently. I'm like, so sorry. And then,
And
what
you
about? So
leave,
what's the?
Marlowe behind? Could you make me a body save with advantage?
It's disadvantage if he looks at the dog's pouty eyes.
I know, right?
Devastating.
Corrosive.
I know.
Dogs.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
fuck with the dogs.
Like, if it was a cat, sure,
Now.
but...
Now, could you do me a favor, Jack? And could you just roll me another D10? And I am going to just write somewhere the number that if you roll it, something bad happens.
Oh boy, let's see what happens. Let's just go with that. 7.
What I wrote on here was a 0.
Ooh.
So, you manage to start slowly climbing up as you feel Anders not waste any time to start getting out of here, as the ship actually starts to climb in elevation while you are still climbing up. And you're just having to, like, against all of the wind and the swinging, keep climbing, and eventually your hand clasps with Renfield as he pulls you up. Anders from the front. What about everyone else? Any other survivors?
No,
Fuck!
they're all gone.
Shunk. The door is slammed shut. And the three of you are safely on board the dropship, heading up to the Metamorphosis. Is there anything that you would do in that 25-minute trip? Okay.
Can we see out the windows a little bit?
Yeah, you can, small little ones, not, it's not a pleasure cruise.
Can we ascertain anything else that has happened at Heron Base?
As you all kind of like, those of you who want to press your eyes to the glass, it's just overrun. You see them climbing on the roof. So many that you can barely see the roof itself. Tearing through the roof and the walls. There are just so many. And you know for a fact that had you waited 2 hours longer, you wouldn't be getting out of here, all three of you.
Who would have thought all of this? Just unnecessary death. For what?
I still think we should have gone back and taken out that asshole, that guy. That was evil. I'm an android. And that was evil.
I know, Charles. I couldn't.
Just hoping one of those damn things got him.
I was willing to take him to the basement and fucking die to kill that fucking guy. But with any luck, what we had done in that tower had just undone whatever sinister, fucked up thing that he had set into motion. And now he is just getting ripped to shreds as pure karma for everything and everyone who died.
Yeah, I hope one of those things got him, because there's so many unanswered questions. It's, why did he tie that creature down and leave it at near death? What caused them to overrun the base in the end? Were they tracking something else? Did another signal come up that they heard and tracked it there?
The curious mind boggles at all these questions. But I gotta say, my broad stroke answer is it's not worth the knowledge.
No, it's not worth it. And we've got to put something of like there's a quarantine protocol that you can put on the planets. We've got to.
Yeah.
No one can set foot down on this planet again without. Well, I don't even know what could protect you on this planet.
Even if it was an option, I'd say just nuke it from orbit.
Yeah.
Base and everything. Glass it.
Renfield had been leaning into the cockpit talking with Anders, and then he turns around, he listens to a little bit of this conversation, then he walks over to the three of you and he pulls out 2 packs. One of cigarettes and one of gum. And just hands gestures for each one of you.
I actually take one of each, put the gum in my pocket, immediately light the cig.
I like your style, Doc. I'm gonna join you.
Yeah, before and after.
One for now, one for later.
That was insane.
He kind of just sits with you all for a little bit and then just says, well, it's never easy jobs, huh? Fucking Moss has just been kicking back this whole time. It looks like you all got the shit end of the stick.
Everyone on that planet got the shit end of the stick.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have you home in no time. You can relax for now.
Thanks.
We cut to the dropship landing back on the Metamorphosis. The three of you have made it off of Samsa VI. Where do you go? Now, keeping in mind the usual policy with these missions is you do a quick check-in with the captain after, and then usually most people, it's up to you, but most people will get back in cryo and ready for the next place, because space is big, and anywhere you're going is probably years away. So, once back on the Metamorphosis, what do the three of you do? And this can be independent or together.
I personally would like to go pick the brain of that scientist. We said it was unacceptable that we didn't get
yes, the company's representative, Moss.
Oh yeah, we're going to have a talk with him.
He's not a scientist. He's a bureaucrat. But absolutely done.
I'm coming with my pulse rifle.
Yeah, please do, Charles.
Upon landing, just inquire about Moss, and Anders and Renfield let you know. Yeah, he tried to apparently get in touch with you the first day, but couldn't hail you, so he's just kind of been kicking back ever since. Mostly in his quarters.
Let's go to his quarters.
Yeah, let's go talk to this guy.
Doesn't take you long to get there. You kind of ring the doorbell style thing, and the door opens, and you see Moss is sitting at a desk in his room filing out reports, and just looks over his shoulder. Oh, good. What were your names? I need to be sure to include them in the reports so that the company understands why the Metamorphosis will not be receiving its full contract pay.
Well, if you must know, I'm Dr. Dan Carpenter, and I don't give a fuck about pay.
Carpenter. Good. And you? Looking at the two of you.
My name is Dr. Anthony Wilson.
Anthony Wilson. Synthetic. Charles. And he kind of puts his hand up to his ear and does that thing where you kind of push on it a couple times trying to get something out of his ear. And all of you notice something. He has these tiny paper cuts on his hand.
Say, Moss, have you been listening to any frequencies from Samsa VI lately?
I tried to check in with you all every few hours or so, but never got a response. Simply strange feedback.
You been hearing voices?
No, I couldn't get in touch with anyone.
Pull out my bioscanner real quick.
Any voices not from a communications or anyone else on the ship?
He doesn't verbally confirm that, but he gets this, like, his eyes shift back and forth in a slightly confused way, and as you pull out the bioscanner, there are definitely two life forms coming from right in front of you.
fellas.
I look at Charles.
I whip out the pulse rifle, and I fire right at this fucking guy, right at his head.
Okay. So, as you unload from this pulse rifle, as soon as you start to pull the trigger, Moss screams and explodes as he is ripped apart from the inside by large legs. And as soon as that happens, the ship's alarms begin to go off.
Warning. Non-human life form detected on board. Warning. Non-human life form detected on board. Warning. Non-human life.
And because the three of you were prepared, the three of you will go first. And it can, once again, just because it's been a little while since combat, you all get to tell me what you're going to do, and we then resolve it. So, Charles, you already said you're going to begin unloading. What about the other two of you? As this legs tear Moss apart from the inside.
I'm going to unclip that antimatter rifle from his back and train it on the emerging Kark and fire one round off on it.
Yes. So this is a tough weapon to use in that because of how strong it is, you have to actually brace yourself. So yeah, it is two-handed and it must be fired while braced. So you need to have it down on something. But since you're in this office, we'll say that you just rip it from his back and just like on a nearby table, level it and just boom, go to fire.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that's what you are going to do. And what about Dr. Wilson?
Trying to see what else I've got in my inventory that's even useful. Rough stim pack, nothing there. So I'm just gonna pull out the issued SMG, the standard SMG that we all got. That's the only weapon I have on me. So yeah, I pull that out, get ready to fire.
All right, let's fucking do it then. So I need combat rolls from all three of you. Dr. Carpenter, because that rifle is long range in intent and this is close quarters, your combat roll is going to be with disadvantage.
Good.
So that is take the higher result.
Okay. Fuck. Is it at or if it's at, is it just a loss still?
If it meets, you lose.
Meet is a fail. Really? Really? Oh no! Oh no! Okay. Well, that's just one shot. All right. So damn it. That is so close. You know what? Here. This is the last session. I'm going to give you one, or like an inspiration here, like I've handed out to everyone. And the two of you, I'll give you one also. For the remainder of this session, the two of you get one reroll. So, Dr. Carpenter, you can reroll this, but you can't reroll, or don't reroll it twice, just one more roll, and that's the result.
No, nowhere
nope.
near.
All right, cool. Hey, that's fine.
Can I give him my reroll?
I'll allow that. Why the fuck not? It's the last hour.
Yes.
There we go! But here is what I'm going to say, Dr. Wilson. In order to convey that advantage is a sacrifice of your turn. So you won't be able to shoot. So you'll be able to shoot, but not for damage. So basically the way that you help is by unloading shots while strafing to pull the attention that way and give Dr. Carpenter the chance to take a second shot.
I'll go with that because I actually succeeded. So yeah, I'll take that.
If you're okay with that, that would be the trade-off.
Yeah, my SMG won't go do that much damage anyway.
It's fine. And once you see this damage, you might be happy. Charles, what did you get? Success or fail on your combat?
Success.
Success. Okay. Charles, since you said yours first, we're going to apply your damage first. So go ahead and roll your damage. Now, Dr. Carpenter, I need you to roll me 2d10s for your damage, but multiply it by 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Hit
is the pulse rifle just one roll of D100?
So it's 3d10 for the pulse rifle damage.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Mine was 2.
And yours is 2d10, yes, but it's multiplied.
Okay. Multiply by 5, you got 40.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, I'm terrible at math.
No, you're totally good.
I believe it's 19.
So, the anti-material rifle, this heavy shot. The first one misses, and pierces through several walls inside the metamorphosis. And there is a separate alarm that begins to blare in response to that. Warning, hull breach detected. Warning, hull breach detected. But the second shot, dealing 40, gets past the 30 armor points that it has, permanently destroying those armor points, and deals an additional 10 damage to it. You then dealt 19 more damage with the pulse rifle. So there is the second heavy thunk, and then shots from the pulse rifle, which between the two of you is enough to do a wound. So could you please roll me, Charles, a d10 to determine what the wound is that you inflict?
8.
That's really good, because you want to, at least when it's your enemy, you want to roll high on the wounds. Holy shit! So the first shot that you send from the anti-material rifle just leaves it's right into the center of mass of the thing's shell, and it cracks a huge visible chasm in the plating of the armor, and that's exactly where you aim, Charles, just unloading right there. You dealt the second highest possible wound, which, if you had been one higher, it would immediately make a death save. But what you do is you send this gushing, thick, blackish green blood that just starts fountaining from this wound. It currently has bleeding 5. So it will just take 5 points of damage flat out every round from that wound. Now, it had 20 health, 10 rolled over from the anti-material, plus 19. So 20 of that was one wound. And now it's also still down 9 more. But now it's its turn. And it is coming full charging at Dr. Carpenter, because that thing friggin' hurts. It may not be genius, but it knows enough to know it did not like that. So let me, for my first roll of the game, get my dice out. Okay, its combat score is a 55. So it has a slightly better than 50% chance of hitting you. However, with a 61, it will miss, and it only gets 1 attack. So it comes up to you, and you just manage to pull the rifle and yourself off of the small table that you were on, just in time for it to come and slam down on the table, just sending bits and pieces flying as it is crushed underneath. It's back to you all. What are we doing?
Well, I'm recoiling, and I'm going to try and find a place to brace this gun.
Okay.
Alright.
You basically kind of shift places with it, where he was over at the desk and you were at the table. Now you run over to the desk.
Flip flop.
Yeah. And set the rifle back down.
Out of the way.
And it's really difficult to aim this thing. That's the disadvantage of the combat roll, because it has a very powerful scope. And so if you're using the scope, it's zoomed in so much that you just can't make sense of anything. So you kind of have to just blind aim it a little bit. But you set up, drop it down, go to take another shot. What about Wilson and Charles?
Do I still have a angle at like kind of the weak spot that we've created?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Then I'm still firing that pulse rifle at that spot as much as I can.
And I'm gonna go SMG for that same spot.
All right, then I need 3 more combat rolls, please.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I see 1 fail from Dr. Carpenter, 2 fail. All 3 fails. This is how we do a boss fight, people. So that is 3. So each one of you is going to take a stress point, as it's, again, not that you don't hit, except maybe with the anti-material rifle, which again, through another section of wall. But the other 2 of you, you can hit, just not, you didn't hit that spot. So it's now its turn. The 2 of you ran away, so it's going to take a shot at it's going to take a stab at Charles then, the one who hurt it the most out of the 2 next to it. Again, 55. Rolled a 70. It can't hit. So just tearing up this room. As things go flying, you're throwing yourself against the wall to barely dodge as this thing is taking up a good 20% of this room and just going like slamming from wall to wall, raking the claws against the wall, leaving these huge gashes, barely managing to roll out of the way in time. It's you 3 again. Are we all 3 taking shots again?
Not going to risk another shot.
Okay, so you hold off?
Yeah.
Okay, you just kind of like, are you tracking it, or are you doing anything else with your turn?
Tracking on it, just like, just in case.
Okay, so you're holding and waiting. The other 2 of you, if you're going to keep shooting, roll me combat checks. If you're going to do something else, let me know.
I'll try shooting it one more time.
All right. That's another stress point for you, Charles.
No.
And failed on my attack.
Fail, that's another stress point, as these 2 of you are still unable to hit that area again where the armor has been broken down. It's going to take an attack on Wilson, because you're the only one who hasn't been attacked.
Uh-oh.
And there's my success. 37.
Of course.
I know, it is of course, isn't it?
I swear to God, if this thing kills me.
The damage is well below average. 11 points in total.
Okay.
On
okay.
4d10. Yeah, I rolled a 2, a 2, a 3, and a 4.
Alright, so I'm down to 9.
9, but didn't take a wound. So that's
Right.
huge. However, as this thing attacks you, could you roll me a panic check, please? We still got time for a few more of those.
Okay, so stress is 7, but I rolled a 13.
There we go. You managed to keep your head. So it's up to you 3 again. This thing has managed to tear into Dr. Wilson a little bit, but he recovers quickly, stumbling back into the wall, SMG still in hand. What are we doing?
Fuck, I wish I still had my SMG from before, but I wasted all those clips on the first encounter.
I'm gonna give Dr. Carpenter my SMG. I'm gonna just toss it to him in like
Oh,
cool
totally.
fashion.
Absolutely.
Buddy.
Yes.
Bruce,
That-
Matilda.
All right. Now that I have the SMG, I'm going to aim for that spot and shoot.
All right. So you're going to be shooting?
Let's see. I'll shoot one more time.
All right.
What's the layout of the room? Is there like a high spot?
It's very basic quarters. No, not. I
Okay.
mean, in terms of something to stand on, the tallest would be like the desk.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really? It's basic ship quarters. There's not a lot of topography in here.
If I left the room, would the doors stay open?
One, either if you stayed next to it, or 2, if you walked out and just pressed one of the buttons, or if you pressed one of the buttons on the inside terminal on your way out, that can just keep it open.
Okay, because I want to use this Wilbur rifle, right? But
Yeah.
it's the long range one, right? Kind of like sniperish.
Well, were you then grabbing that rifle back from Dr. Carpenter?
Yeah, are we trading? Because that's the
Well,
one I was using.
I had 3 guns on me. I had
Right.
my original SMG, the pulse
rifle.
and then I just picked up that Wilbur. So
But then you gave the Wilbur. That's the one that
Yeah,
Dr.
I
Carpenter has
snapped it
been
off your
using.
back.
that's the one. I thought I
Yeah.
gave you the SMG.
So, but if you trade, well, you gave him the SMG. Do you now take
Yeah, we
back
can trade.
the Wilbur rifle?
We can trade.
You can just take it back.
Yeah, let's trade.
Give it.
All right, cool. So as you toss that, the rifle tossed your way. You slam the button on the door to keep it open and step out into the hallway to try to get a little bit more range while you're aiming. I'll say that's just far enough that you won't have disadvantage when you make the shot.
Yeah. Perfect.
And so I believe that is all 3 of you going for combat rolls. These are straight combat checks. Let's make them. Come on, y'all. You got this. Don't let it get another... Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, don't you have to do its turn?
No. I have to apply the bleeding from the previous 2 turns.
Oh yeah.
It had 11
yeah.
hit points left, and it has bleeding 5, and it's been 2 turns. So it has 1 hit point.
So we just need to land a hit at this point.
You just need to hit it.
Okay.
So everybody roll. This is it.
All
For
right.
all the marbles. Fuck.
I missed 2.
Oh, 3 fail! So just as you're unable to get these bullets to actually get to where it will do damage, it will get 1 final attack before it succumbs to the bleeding. And I'm going to do this randomly because there's no reason not to. 1 for Dr. Wilson, 2 for Dr. Carpenter, 3 for Charles, and on a 4 I'll reroll. Charles, as you leave the door open, this thing comes piercing through the floor with its heavy claws as it comes charging your way to make 1 more attack. And with a 96, that's an auto fail, even if it had a super high combat score. So it will slam into the wall next to you, and as it does, the impact of it sends another gout of blood from the wound that the 2 of you previously opened. And it stumbles, slamming into the wall, and then, like an incredibly large insect, falls onto its back, and the legs begin to curl inward. And with Charles and Dr. Carpenter and Dr. Wilson standing near the shredded remains of Moss, and above this twitching, but let me roll the death save, dead Kark. As the 3 of you stand over this, the alarm's still blaring, and we see members of the Metamorphosis start to gather around you all in this hallway, looking at this thing. The distant alarms. That is where the camera will fade out, and we will end the story of Samsa VI. But what we see that no one else here gets to. Had there not been so much chaos on the Metamorphosis, perhaps someone would have stayed at the ship's main controls and navigation system. Perhaps they would have noticed the small second ship depart from Samsa VI off to the stars. But they didn't. And so that's where this story ends. And how far the ripples will extend of that, it will take years to tell. Great job, everyone! You all lived! Woo! We did it!
God didn't want me dead. I declared it in one episode, and it's true.